Hi there, it's Duncan at Greenfield Hives and Honey, and today it's March 25th, and we're at our home yard, and I'm just going to do just a two-part kind of video. First part is kind of just explain what we're doing here. We have doing some feeding. So 2 weeks ago we put on pollen, and now we're starting to see our bees haul the pollen into the hive. So that gave them a little bit of an early start for pollen. They'll take it down, and on top in the bucket you'll see that we have a bucket upside down over the inner cover, and that's feeding the one-to-one syrup. And why do we feed? You can probably let these girls be and they'll figure it out on their own. But we want them to boost the population, so we want 10 full frames of bees, and a couple weeks ago, it takes about 6 weeks to get an egg to turn into a forager, and these hives, we want them to be packed full of foragers. So we want to boost their population. In another week I will pop on another box on top of that, another brood box on top. And what that will do will give them the space then to start growing. The one-to-one syrup helps get the queen into full laying mode. It also encourages the bees to build wax. And we're going to give them 10 frames of new foundation. And then from that, we'll do another video, but we'll put a queen, we'll shake all the bees down into lower frame. And then we'll put a queen excluder in and let all the bees come back up into that. Hopefully there'll be some brood in the upper box, but that's down the road, and then that'll be our walk-away split for us. And that's how we double our hives. So we feed them and encourage them the queen to get an early start, and then we provide them lots of space to grow and build, and then we'll walk away with our split and introduce a new queen. So that's what we got here. Now, although because we're still expecting some cool nights, we're still using the black wrap. So use the medium super box just to keep this weather tight, predator tight, I should say. Putting the foam back on, and then just using this to keep that spot nice and warm. When that sun is shining on it, it keeps that liquid syrup nice and warm. And that's the way they will stay for a nice little while. And we'll come back and visit those hives and then see how that population is doing. Right now they're anywhere between 8 to 10 frames every hive. The ones that weren't, we did some balancing, so we moved some frames from one of the stronger hives, a 9 or a 10, and then we put that into a hive that maybe only had 6 or 7 frames of bees. So just to boost that population and make sure they do well. I'm just going to put you on pause. I'm going to walk over to another hive. All right, so I accidentally hit the stop button, so we'll have this as part 2. So we unfortunately did find another dead out, and if you had seen my video, I did a little autopsy in my garage using a kind of like a step-by-step process. This one is a no-brainer as well. It was another one of my nukes, however it was much stronger. And just quickly kind of wanted to go through some of the things that we were talking about in my last video. I don't have a tool with me. Do you have a tool on you? Hive tool, do you have one? Did you take it up? Okay. It's all right. I'm just trying to pull some of these frames that my fingers are too big. Oh. And it doesn't matter, either one. Thanks. So this hive was, again, low in numbers. And as we concluded from my last dead out, they got separated during the cold. Now this one, not the case, although there's no sign of a queen. We did shake these bees out because there was no sign of a queen, and there was lots of food in there, but we're seeing, this is what I want to show you. So we're seeing honey, some very thick frames, but we're also seeing a lot of this. Can we see that here? There we are. A lot of this. This is the ragged ripping of the caps off of the frame. And then what you see is little piles of wax at the bottom on the floor of the frame. And here's another example. You can see ragged. So this would have been all full of honey right up to here. And then it was robbed, basically what it was. Can you see that okay? Right here. Yeah, so you see this jagged edges, especially right here. This is a good spot to see it. You can see jagged edges where the other bees came into the hive, neighboring hives, much stronger, so 9s and 10s. And this was a 4 or 5, so very weak. The queen was there. They made it through the winter. Last inspection, they were still there. Here, although is that a live bee? I don't know, it looks like it was moving. But my eyes are playing tricks on me. But that's what we're seeing when we see a lot of robbing. You're going to see that. And they're still doing it now. So here, I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. Turn a little light on. So here we have, I'm going to try to shine the light on in there. And you can see all the little wax caps. So we're seeing some dead bees, but we're also seeing all of this is chewed off wax caps. And there's also honey that's dribbled down into the hive. So this is kind of the indication that this hive was weak. It at one point did have a queen. They produced no brood. There's no brood in any of these frames. They're all out of order because I just threw them back in there. And that's the evidence that we were looking for as to why this hive didn't make it. So the queen might have taken off or tried to take off, left some hives around. She also might have died in a battle. You know, you can kind of take away the result is irrelevant. Or what happened to, the result is the same. This hive was no good, not going to make it. And it was another one of my, nukes, small nukes that I thought I had a good number in, and turns out I did not. So, and that's kind of what I wanted to show, was the point of the jagged edges on the frames. Here's another good frame. You can see a lot of. Can you see that there? I don't remember my orientation. I'm not very good at doing these videos. There we go. Jagged edges on the caps where they would have went through the robbers and taken any resources they can find. They had lots of honey, again on the other side as well. There's still a little bit of honey, but not as much. So that's one of the signs we were looking for. Other than that, so we lost one hive in one yard and one hive in the other yard. This yard, although, is still doing well. All of these hives are 8, 9, and 10 frames of bees. So they're doing quite great. All right, so next time I think we see you, we'll be putting on some new brood boxes. And we'll talk to you then.